Hello YouTube modelers, welcome back to my channel. I want to thank all my viewers and subscribers for tuning in. So today we're going to revisit another past build of mine. It is the Monogram 148 scale A-10 Warthog. Built this in the 90s. It's a pretty decent kit. The first and only A-10 I built. And what makes this mold unique, and you can still see it in some of the Revel or Revell kits, is if you look at the box art or the photos on the side of the completed kit, this molding has the ones with the die flaps in the open position, because that's the only choice they give you, unless you cut it and mount them closed. But that's how you can tell that there's the original or one of the older Monogram moldings. It comes with the die flaps open. So let's take a look at it. So this kit is pretty interesting. This is one intimidating looking plane. I mean, it's got the straight wings because it doesn't need to fly fast. It's one of the best close air support, I think the only close air support that the Air Force has. I know they're talking about pulling these from service because now, you know, the war has changed. I think they first developed them in the 60s, or started to develop in the 60s, and then it went to service around the 70s or something, because they had fear of Russian tanks just rolling across East Germany and just entering West Europe with their sheer numbers of T-55s and T-62 tanks. So it's a great tank killer with this highlight in the front, this 30mm Gatling gun. It looks off center, but it's actually the barrel, when it reaches this 9 o'clock position or in the far left, is the barrel that fires. So when it fires, it's actually dead center. But yeah, the barrel does look like it's off center, but when it fires, it's the barrel that's in the center. So it does fire when it's right in the center line axis of the plane. This plane came molded in a weird, shiny, bright green. Kind of reminds me of those bags of plastic soldiers when you got as a kid. So what I did was I took Tester's spray cans, and I think I sprayed some kind of medium green. I think I hand painted the light green and the khaki, and kind of did like a light camel, not very heavily cameled. But yeah, you definitely want to tone it down with some flat green from the molded color. The first time I painted the pilot with the camo helmet, which I like. Pretty much just dull it down. And of course, let me see if I can get into the cockpit here. And of course, this is one of the insignias I like when they make them dark gray or black. The low visibility insignias, which I like. I don't think I dull coated over it. I should have, because it has a slight sheen to it. But in the instructions, it does tell you why the A-10 is built the way it is. The engines are high up and kind of tucked away between these tail rudders for a reason, because when it's high up, it doesn't suck up debris, but also to keep the heat signature kind of hidden with these tail rudders. Also, these on the belly are these things that resemble sled runners for a reason, because when you're flying low altitude and providing close air support, the plane gets hit, or can get hit, and if your landing gear fails, you can belly land onto what resembles sled runners. So it can land pretty much on these runners. Also, the whole pilot cockpit is encased, I think, in a titanium tub, like a bathtub, like those cast iron tubs from the 1900s. So they sit in a protected bucket. I think it's made of titanium, but so they're protected. I decided to keep the boarding ladder down. Do a quick 360. Again, I did not concentrate on the seam work, so you guys could probably do a better job. I did not use Tamiya panel line accent, which is something you guys can do. So at least the finish is dulled down, which is what I'm interested in. So one thing I wanted to note is, and I figured this out after the fact, but after I glued the fuselage, in the instruction sheets it did say if you're interested in putting weights in the nose, because this plane is extremely tail heavy. Reason being is because you have these twin engine nacelles and you have the twin rudders, so it's a lot of weight in the back. So they give you this clear posts to kind of make it look optically transparent, so it looks like it's sitting on the front nose wheel, but the rear is extremely heavy. So if I had to do it again, if you guys are into N-scale railroad modeling, you could probably take apart one of those dummy rail cars and take the metal plate that weigh down the rail cars and maybe put it on the nose, maybe stack like 3 or 4 of them, because you need a lot of weight to keep the nose down. But I glued the fuselage, it's too late. So pretty good detailed kit. And of course it is a Monogram, which was my manufacturer of choice, because Monogram made great military planes. They make the large scale bombers, but they just have a vast array of military planes. And of course they make great car models with the Tom Daniel 124 scale NASCARs. So growing up, it was always Monogram first, then AMT, because AMT makes the trucks and the cars, especially the 1960s cars I like. And then third, I guess, would have to be Lindbergh, because I did used to play with my models in my early teens. So Lindbergh models were made very durable, thick plastic, although not highly detailed or sometimes that highly realistic. And then fourth would be just a toss-up between MPC, which made great subject matter like American Graffiti and special cars that no one else would make, or Tamiya, because they make great tanks, and then Hasegawa or whatever I happened to be into at that time. So Monogram first, second AMT, third Lindbergh, fourth toss-up between MPC, Tamiya, and maybe Revell. I mean, Tamiya is good, but their kits are so expensive. But they do make good tank models. So I'll get into the tanks at a later revisit. So let's flip it over and see. Alright, let me pause the video because I need something to prop it up. The canopy is up. Alright, so I propped it up because the canopy is up and I couldn't turn it over, or else the canopy will break. So I remember on this model, the payload was one of the more interesting or centerpieces of this model. It took me just as long or even more time just to detail paint the payload. So although the bombs usually come in halves or you stick the fins together, but just to get it painted correctly took some time. So what we have here are cluster bombs, the olive drab ones. You get the optically guided Mavericks, that's why they have the clear plastic lens in the front. So you get the cluster bomb, the Maverick, the napalm. This is the fuel tank, some more cluster bombs, napalm, Maverick, another cluster bomb, and then you have ECM, an electronic countermeasure module. Anyway, it's an ECM, so it's for electronic warfare. So which I think it's just a pod. They just clamp it on. So that's pretty much it. I mean, it's a really good build if you like close air support like the A-10. I think now they have like drones, so you know, it changes. So I don't know what the fate is of the A-10. You know, they've been talking about pulling it out of service, but who knows? It's still a very intimidating plane. It just looks really, really intimidating, especially with that payload. I think it only tops out at like 500 miles an hour. One thing I did want to mention was it did come with the Warthog decals, like the two eyes and the teeth with those pointy canine teeth. But I think it never sat right because I didn't use decal set at that time, so I just scraped it off. So I just left it without it. But that 30mm gun does look nice. And I hope you guys enjoyed this past build of mine. Next one, I'll try to fit in either a tank or a car, because I know I've been doing quite a bit of planes. But just look at the detail. They do include like the 3 rear view mirrors right on the canopy here, so when it closes, the pilot can see who's behind him. So it has some detail, you know, not the greatest detail. Of course, I would have used Tamiya panel line details, or you know, maybe blocked out some of the panels or something. But back then, this is how I did it. It's a nice looking plane. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys are into A-10s, this is not a bad kit. You can still get it. I think I still see it marketed on the Revel or Revell. And again, you can tell it's the monogram molding with these dive brakes in the open position, or air brakes. So that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to spray dull coat when you're done to tone down the decals. So I will have stills at the end. Thanks for watching.